What is going on in your state of Michigan, where you have voiced concerns about the economy, populism, things that Republicans have claimed they want to help? They say they're going to get your prices down. They're going to get government off your back. But what's going on in this state, you know well, as the party on the right embraces outright election deniers in Michigan?
Well, yeah, but that's just the Republican Party. I mean, there are so many more Democrats than Republicans in Michigan. And when the Democrats have lost in the past with Michigan, it's because they didn't get the vote out. Hillary lost Michigan in 2016 by an average of 2 votes per precinct. That's it. If only 2 more people had shown up per precinct, Trump wouldn't be president. But that's why, as you went to commercial break, that's the most important thing. The only way the Democrats can lose on Tuesday is we don't show up and we don't bring 5 people with us to the polls and we don't call 10 people this weekend and don't assume that everybody's planning to vote. People have a lot going on in their lives. So that is for Michigan. That's the key thing. Here's a great statistic for Michigan. So another group that's going to show up in very large numbers are young people, young adults. Back in 2014, 15% of 18 to 29-year-olds showed up to vote in Michigan in the off-year election of 14. Just 4 years later, in 2018, that went from 15% of young people showing up to 32.2%. More than double in just 4 years showed up. And that trend has continued. Actually, it's really sort of started in Barack Obama's first election. Across the whole country, young people, the white 18 to 29-year-old vote was the only white demographic that Obama won in that first year. I know it's hard to believe, right? So how did he win? Well, he won because about 70% of the eligible voters in this country now are either women, people of color, or 18 to 35. Those are the 3 groups, or a combination of the 3. A young black woman, for instance. So with that in mind, you think about 70% are the base, or the traditional base of the Democratic Party: women, people of color, young people. If we show up, this is ours. In the states where they ask you, are you a Democrat or Republican? When you register, you have to list the party. There are 20 million, and there's about 40-some states, 20 million more register as Democrats over Republicans. In 7 of the last 8 presidential elections, the popular vote has gone to the Democrat running for president. Only once in 34 years, since George I in 88, only once since then has the Republican got the popular vote. The other 7 times, it's been the Democrat. So how can we lose if obviously the people of America through those 8 elections said, you know who I want running the country? I want the Democrat in the White House. And
no,
yet, I was
just going to say, it's a fascinating data point because it was 7 of 8 more people voted for the Democrat in the White House. And the one exception was 2004, which was a wartime incumbent president against terror. So that's really the one exception that you have.
And I've heard you, yes, and I remember at the time you pointed out that America has never removed a president at the polls during a war. Never happened.
Right.
And it didn't happen. It almost happened.
As a political science matter, you could understand why that trend occurs, even though there's other reasons why people are worried about who's in charge. Michael, we gave you 2 blocks. That's one more block than most guests
I'm so honored, and thank you for letting me say this, because we've heard the other story so much. Republican surge.
No, I appreciate it. Look,
and it's like,
and there are people who
I don't know if you know this. If we show up, that's not going to happen.
There are people who have followed your work for decades and look to you for exactly the analysis you did tonight. And Michael Moore making some news on the beat, calling it a Democratic race. We'll see Tuesday. There are people who love Grover Norquist.
Yeah.
Not call it, but there are people who love Grover Norquist, and he was on last night, so people can hear all of it and make up their own minds. That's the spirit. You did say a lot, so I hope after Election Day, if you're wrong, you got to come back and deal with it. But if you're right, you got to come back and we'll run the tape. Okay, deal?
How could I be wrong? The only way I could be wrong is if people watching this don't get out to vote and don't bring 10 people with them. Then they'll be wrong because we didn't do our work over this last weekend to get the vote out. So I'm counting on us doing that.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber. Thanks for watching The Beat. I wanted to let you know I'm writing a foreword to the January 6th committee's full report, which is coming out soon from HarperCollins. You can go pre-order the book right now, and it'll come to you first when the report comes out in the fall or whenever the government releases it. Just search Melber Jan 6th on Amazon or your favorite independent book site and click pre-order. You'll be the first to get both the report and my new piece on the coup conspiracy. You can also go to melberbook.com and order it there.